Dwijendralal Roy, 1863–1913, was a prominent Bengali poet, playwright, and musician known for his nationalistic and devotional songs. His compositions, particularly patriotic songs, played a significant role in inspiring the Indian freedom movement. Roy was deeply influenced by both Western and Indian literary traditions, blending them into a unique poetic and musical style. His works continue to be celebrated in Bengali literature and music. Early life and education. Dwijendralal Roy was born on July 19, 1863, in Krishnanagar, a town in present-day West Bengal, India. His father, Kartikeyakendra Roy, was a deputy collector and an amateur musician, while his mother, Prasanamayi Devi, was a deeply religious woman. Growing up in an environment that encouraged both learning and music, young Dwijendralal developed an early interest in literature and melodies. He received his early education at Krishnanagar Collegiate School, where he showed remarkable talent in writing and music. Later, he attended Hooghly College before moving to Presidency College, Kolkata, where he earned his bachelor's degree in English literature in 1884. His academic excellence earned him a scholarship to pursue further studies in England. He went on to study agriculture at the Royal Agricultural College in Cirencester and later joined the University of Oxford for additional training. Time in England and exposure to Western literature. During his stay in England, Roy was deeply influenced by Western literary figures such as William Shakespeare, Lord Byron, and Percy Bysshe Shelley. He admired their poetic expression and incorporated elements of their style into his own works. He was also exposed to European political and philosophical ideas, which further strengthened his sense of nationalism. Though he lived in England for a few years, his love for his homeland never diminished. Instead, his exposure to British colonial attitudes fueled his patriotic sentiments. Return to India and career in civil service. After completing his studies, Roy returned to India in 1886 and joined the government as a deputy magistrate, following in his father's footsteps. Despite holding a prestigious position in the British colonial administration, he was vocal about his nationalist ideas. His job took him to various districts in Bengal, and he became deeply connected with the socio-political issues of the time. He often expressed his dissatisfaction with British rule through poetry and music. His position in the administration did not prevent him from participating in literary and cultural movements. He became involved in the Indian National Congress and associated with many leaders of the freedom struggle. However, his government job placed restrictions on his political activities, so he primarily contributed through his writings. Literary and musical contributions. Dwijendralal Roy was a prolific writer who composed numerous poems, songs, and plays. His literary works often reflected his patriotism, devotion to Hindu culture, and love for Bengali heritage. Patriotic and devotional songs. Roy is best remembered for his patriotic songs, which inspired nationalistic fervor among Bengalis. His song Dhana Dhanya Pushpabura, Amader ei Basunera, This Land of Ours, filled with wealth, grain, and flowers, became an anthem of pride for Bengalis. Another famous composition, Banga Amar Janani Amar, glorified Bengal and its rich cultural heritage. Apart from patriotic songs, Roy also composed devotional songs that expressed his deep spirituality. His religious compositions reflected the influence of the Bhakti movement, and his devotional works continue to be sung in temples and religious gatherings. Plays and poetry. Dwijendralal Roy was also a renowned playwright. His historical plays, often inspired by Indian legends and myths, were marked by their poetic grandeur and nationalistic themes. Some of his most notable plays include Mewar Patan, The Fall of Mewar, a historical play depicting the courage of Rajput warriors. Shahjahan, a dramatic portrayal of the Mughal emperor's life. Chandragupta, a play about the rise of the Mauryan emperor Chandragupta. His plays combined elements of history with national pride, reinforcing the idea of a glorious Indian past. His poetic works, often lyrical in nature, displayed his mastery over both language and rhythm. Personal life and beliefs. Dwijendralal Roy was married to Surabala Devi, and together they had several children. Despite his commitments to literature and government service, he was a dedicated family man. He was also deeply spiritual and believed in the principles of Hinduism. His works reflected his admiration for Indian culture, and he often urged the youth to embrace their heritage. Roy's personal philosophy was shaped by his experiences with colonial rule. Though he held a government position, he never hesitated to criticize British policies through his songs and writings. His love for Bengal and India remained the central theme of his work. Final years and legacy. In the later years of his life, Dwijendralal Roy continued to compose music and write plays. However, his health began to decline. He passed away on May 17, 1913, at the age of 49. His untimely death was a great loss to Bengali literature and music. Even after his death, Roy's works continued to inspire generations of Indians. His patriotic songs were widely used in the Indian independence movement, and his literary works became a part of the Bengali cultural heritage. Today, his songs are still performed at national events, and his plays are staged in theatres. Conclusion. Dwijendralal Roy was more than just a poet and musician. He was a cultural revolutionary whose words inspired a sense of pride and nationalism among Bengalis. His contributions to Bengali literature, music, and theatre have cemented his place as one of the most celebrated figures in Indian cultural history. His songs, filled with devotion and patriotism, continue to resonate with people, making him an immortal figure in the annals of Indian literature.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.